So just to follow up a little bit on the video that Geeky and I did yesterday, we're going to talk about how AI overviews and how the internet gets it wrong and how sometimes people are defamed. This is a Canadian musician. He's a fiddler. I'm not familiar with him. I'm sorry, but this is Ashley McIsaac, and he is seeking $1.5 million in damages from Google because its AI got him confused with somebody else and apparently stated as fact that he was a sex offender, right? Now, I don't know if this came from Reddit or where this came from, but we talked about yesterday that Reddit has a disproportionate amount of power when it comes to AI overviews because, Google was training its AI with Reddit. And now we're seeing cases where people are trying to figure out who the Redditors actually are. And I think we're going to be faced with several defamation lawsuits due to social media. And I don't think that you're going to be as anonymous on the internet as you'd like to think you are. We already know they're pushing for digital ID. And so this is going to be a very sticky situation because it's going to be a double-edged sword. Yeah, you might find out who is talking shit about you. Yeah, you might have some legal recourse against people who are talking shit about you, but also you're not going to have any privacy anymore. So, I guess you got to pick your poison here, but let's talk about this situation. This is kind of wild. Geeky sent this over. She's not feeling too well today, guys. So, I'm going to try to muddle through a couple of videos here. I'm not feeling too great either. I don't know, man. It's we got COVID again. It's wild. It's like the third time in 5 years. It just never goes away. Anyway, let's talk about this before we get into any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Be sure to listen on all of the audio podcast platforms of your choosing. We are on, I think, all of them now. So check out the audio version of CLOWNFISH TV. That's how you don't miss an episode. If you check out the audio version, because it's going to be in the RSS feed. Also, if you're looking for more CLOWNFISH TV, go out to more.clownfishtv.com. That's more.clownfishtv.com for more CLOWNFISH TV. We've got lots of podcast episodes, video episodes, articles, things that you will not find on the YouTube channel. And you can have access to a lot of the paywalled content for less than the cost of a super chat. We don't do super chats here on CLOWNFISH TV anymore. So if you want to help support the channel, going out to more.clownfishtv.com is the best way to do it. Thank you so much for that support. So let's talk about this guy first, and we'll talk about the situation with there's another band looking to sue Redditors, and then we've got Ethan Klein trying to sue Redditors. And I think that this probably originated on Reddit. If I had to guess, I mean, they say a lot of shit about us. It's not true, but Reddit just makes it up and Google runs with it and says, hey, this is true. But I think that's going to change. This comes from The Guardian. Canadian fiddler sues Google after AI overview wrongly claims he was a sex offender. Ashley McIsaac, who's seeking $1.5 million in a lawsuit, says inaccurate information led to concert cancellations. So an acclaimed Canadian fiddle player has launched a $1.5 million civil lawsuit against Google, alleging the online giant defamed him by falsely identifying him as a sex offender in an AI-generated summary of his life and career. This guy is a 3-time Juno Award-winning musician. He filed the claim in the Ontario Superior Court of Justice, asserting that Google was liable for the foreseeable republication of its AI-generated overview feature, which previously published defamatory claims that he had been convicted of multiple criminal offenses, including the assault of a woman, internet luring involving a child with the intention of assault, and assault causing bodily harm. These are very, very serious career-ending allegations, and Google's stating it as fact. Google's AI overview also wrongly stated that McIsaac had been listed on the National Sex Offender Registry for life. Can I say that? I'm going to say it. It's news, right? As the creator and operator of the AI overview, Google's also liable for injuries and losses arising from the AI overview's defective design. The lawsuit says Google knew or ought to have known that the AI overview was imperfect and could return information that was untrue. Again, this is what happens when you rely on Reddit, you rely on chat boards, you rely on social media. If anybody talks shit about you, sometimes it will run with it and say, "Oh, this is true." Or maybe, it's crazy. Or in this case, I guess they got mixed up with another person with the same name. The musician suing Google for $500,000 in general damages, $500,000 in aggravated damages, and $500,000 in punitive damages. McIsaac claimed he first learned of the inaccurate information when the I cannot pronounce their name, and I'm sorry, Sepeknekaktik First Nation canceled a concert appearance planned for 19th of December after members of the public complained, citing the misinformation they read on Google. So he had his concert canceled because people read the Google AI overview, which is probably pulling inaccurate information from God knows where, presenting it as fact, and he lost work because of it. Yeah, that's pretty damn serious. The First Nation leader issued a public apology to McIsaac, saying decisions were based on incorrect information generated through an AI-assisted search, which mistakenly associated you with offenses unrelated to you. We deeply regret the harm this has caused to your reputation and livelihood. He previously told the Canadian press that the misinformation had left him with a tangible fear about performing, adding, "I feared for my own safety going on stage because of what I was labeled as." Yeah, if they think you're a P word, they're going to go after you. I don't know how long this will follow me. Yeah, because here's the thing. Even if you disprove a serious allegation like that, it's going to follow you around forever, right? Urban legends and stuff like that. Sandy Duncan. Does Sandy Duncan actually have a glass eye? I don't know. I heard that when I was a kid. I think one of her eyes is, she can't see out of one of her eyes or something like that. But like you hear these urban legends and they somehow become fact because it gets repeated enough and often enough. And that's how cancel culture worked. It was basically about repeating something enough that the public believed it. Didn't matter if it was actually true or not. It was as long as the public thought you were a P word or the public thought you were an R word. In the court of public opinion, you were, and that's why Johnny Depp's case, I think, his trial was so important, because it was like, no, I might not be the greatest human being on the planet, but I didn't do the things that my ex-wife accused me of doing, and I'm going to prove it in court. And, but yeah, Google just doesn't give a shit. They care about page views. They care about ad revenue. Google's cavalier and indifferent response to its publication of utterly false statements claimed that McIsaac committed serious offenses, including offenses involving children, justifies the award of aggravated and or punitive damages. If a human spokesperson made these false allegations on Google's behalf, a significant award of punitive damages would be warranted. Google should not have lesser liability because of the defamatory statements being published by software that Google created and controls. What is going to happen is if this reaches kind of a boiling point with inaccurate information coming from the public being surfaced by Google and other AI or whatever, eventually, well, one, they're going to use this to push for digital ID, and you're not going to be able to post on Reddit unless you have an ID. I'm telling you right now. And then they're also going to hold you responsible for it. Eventually, I think that, a lot of, publishers are just going to nope out, and they're going to be like, yeah, we don't want to deal with this. We don't want to deal with it. McIsaac told The Guardian, "When I first discovered the false statements Google was publishing about me, I felt the need to speak out to the media to clear my name. I believe this is a serious issue. It needs to be resolved in the courts. I do not want to do or say anything that may hinder the lawsuit's progress or distract attention from the issue." The Guardian has reached out to Google for comment in December. When McIsaac began speaking to the press, a spokesperson for the company said, "AI overviews frequently improve to show the most helpful information, and we invest significantly in the quality of responses. When issues arise, like if our features misinterpret web content or miss some context, we use those examples to improve our systems." You're going to get your ass sued, and Google doesn't care. They have infinite money. But this guy's career has been harmed because Google has cited false information and basically claimed it was true. So when you search for this guy, and that's how this game is played, and that's, again, back to the cancel culture angle, cancel culture lives on Reddit. These people can do this shit anonymously, or they think they're anonymous. They might not be so anonymous because people are starting to file suits against Reddit now. This is coming from the AV Club. Royal Otis guitarist tries to stifle misconduct allegations with the Reddit dragnet. So instead of issuing a denial, he sought names, emails, and IP addresses, and the court declined to play along. Well, that was him. But now Ethan Klein is going after Reddit too. So how long until, there are going to be some laws passed or something that's going to basically connect all the dots and be like, hey, Reddit, hey, Google, you are ultimately financially responsible if you surface information that is untrue and it hurts somebody's career, hurts their reputation, or gets, somebody killed or fired or whatever. So this is coming from Sports Key to Ethan Klein and H3 Snark subreddit lawsuit update. Motion to squash subpoenas has reportedly been denied. So they're trying to slap down the subpoenas. I haven't been following this one super close, but it is a very interesting situation to see a lot of people who have been, kind of counting on this anonymity have that stripped away. And it is kind of funny on one level, but also again, this is going to be just like, think of the children, right? This is how they're going to strip us of our privacy on the internet. They're going to be like, well, it's for the greater good. You want to know who these trolls are, right? And that's true to some extent. I mean, if they're saying defamatory things, then yeah, I think what, needs to happen is that there does need to be some personal accountability for people if they are going to publish patently untrue things they know are untrue. It's not like they just had misinformation or whatever, but they're going to publish untrue things. The problem is the only way you can hold that person responsible is to have some kind of ID. It's going to be digital ID, and that's where all roads lead to digital ID. That's basically what I'm saying. Because of this, all roads lead to digital ID. And it is what it is. And it's going to be, think of all the, trolls that we can slap down. Think of the children that can be saved. Think of all the privacy you're no longer going to have. So Ethan Klein has made progress in his lawsuit against the subreddit H3 Snark, specifically the individual users responsible for moderating the Reddit community. For context, H3 Snark is dedicated to the criticism of his podcast. In early 2025, Klein expressed his intention to file a lawsuit against the community. Later, after the lawsuit was put into motion in June of 2025, Klein said that with the help of subpoenas, he'd find out the real-life identities of these Snark moderators. The Snark moderators, through lawyers, pushed back hard. They filed a motion to quash the subpoenas. The subpoenas seemingly took some time to run through the courts because Ethan Klein saw results about a year later in April. Yeah, it does. We've been in multiple lawsuits. They're not fast. Everybody thinks it works like Perry Mason, that, or, Law and Order or something like that, where it's over in like an hour. No, it's the wheels of justice turn very, very slowly. So the results were positive for Klein concerning the motion to quash subpoenas. It's been reportedly been denied by the U.S. District Court in California. They said on April 29th, having carefully considered the parties' papers, relevant legal authority, case record, and oral argument, the court denies Doe, that'd be anonymous, Doe defendant's motion for the reason forth set below. Interesting. Twitch streamer Denims was mentioned in Ethan Klein's lawsuit. Denim's watch parties of her reaction to the viral content new Kassam Piker video. So in 2025, Klein initiated copyright infringement lawsuit. This whole thing, again, this is a whole, I haven't been following this. I know a lot of people have been following this, but all of this is related. It's basically people willingly damaging other people using the cover of anonymity. And what we're seeing now is real life consequences where people are starting to lose their livelihoods because they're being lied about. And the stupid internet AI search engine thing is surfacing these randos comments as gospel because for some reason they disproportionately, weigh Reddit against other websites. Not as much as they used to, but Reddit is stupid and should never be listened to. And here we are. So now we're looking at lawsuits. So I don't know what the next step is. Like I said, I think all roads lead to digital ID, and that is going to be a cold bucket of water for some people, and it's going to terrify a lot of other people. And I'm not a huge fan of digital ID, but we also have people losing careers and stuff too. So it's crazy. It's a crazy time. I don't think 10 years ago any of us thought that we would get to this point with the internet. It was just, funny cat videos and occasional flame wars over TV shows, and here we are. So I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Please subscribe. Check out more, more.clownfishtv.com. Thank you very much, and thank you to our reefers for supporting this show.